Smart 24, driving business.
Hello and welcome to the Green Economy, where we discuss sustainable development. In 2013, the Ugandan government put a ban on plastic bags. This enforced a couple of researchers at the National Agricultural Research Organization, NARO, to come up with an innovation, biodegradable bags as an alternative. In this episode, we decided to visit NARO and catch up with how far they have gone with this innovation. Let's dive in. In an initiative to provide an alternative, very many individuals and entities decided to come up with alternative packaging materials. Some of those included paper bags, reusable plastic bags, and so many others. This crucial decision paved the way for innovative solutions, and one such breakthrough came from the National Agricultural Research Organization, NARO, located in Namulonge. NARO embarked on a mission to create sustainable alternatives, leading to the development of biodegradable bags. Today, we take you on a journey to witness the progress NARO has made in its pursuit of a greener and cleaner Uganda.
The government of Uganda was proposing a specific ban on bioplastics, on rather plastics, or what we call kavera. By then, we thought we could do something from agricultural waste that could actually replace the kavera completely. And so as researchers, we went into the lab and started working on a kavera that could actually come from crop-based waste. So we were working together with a number of teams from Kawanda, which is the National Agricultural Research Laboratories. And part of what we are doing was to develop a material that could actually be used as a packaging bag. So what inspired us was actually the government initiative to be environmentally sensitive, but also to have materials that could completely degrade when they are put in the environment. The other inspiration actually came from the fact that this would not only benefit the environment and the like, but we could use this as a springboard for making sure that our crops can have other uses. So the aspect of agro-industrialization, which is found in the National Development Plan 3 and even the National Development Plan 2. So we are answering to the National Development Plan 2 and 3 initiative on agro-industrialization, because once you start working on bioplastics, then you have to use crops to get them. But as you use the crops, that means you increase the pressure of production on the crop sector. And that would inspire the farmers to grow more, produce more, and in that case, we have more of agro-industrialization, since Uganda's economy is highly dependent on agriculture. Then finally is what actually happens in the livestock sector. So plastics and the kavera have specific issues, especially when it comes to the livestock sector, where they act as poisonous substances. They affect the digestive system of cattle and the like. So we realized that one of the biggest issues was this plastic was everywhere in the water, and it was affecting the way livestock farmers were dealing with their cattle, their goats and the like. So we thought we could provide an alternative which can completely degrade even if you put it in that kind of environment. Then finally, we had a project from the National Council of Science and Technology where we are trying to alleviate the issues related to used oil. So we realized that products from used oil, what is vegetable oil, could actually be used in producing plastics. When you produce these plastics, then you are going to alleviate issues related to waste handling in municipal councils. So that was a project. We are trying to address the issue of waste. For KCCA, for example, how can we make sure that the waste is reduced? So when you have bioplastics, they degrade. You don't have clogging of waterways and the like. So that means you are able to work with them to help them manage waste in their own way. So if they take something to Chitezi, it will completely degrade. So it is easy now for them to handle the waste. So those are the major four thrusts that we are working on.
In this episode, we decided to visit the National Agricultural Research Organization to find out how far they are with the initiative, to also properly understand biodegradable bags, how they are made, and what the future of packaging looks like in Uganda. Biodegradable plastic bags are a type of plastic bag that is designed to break down more quickly in the environment compared to traditional plastic bags. They are often promoted as a more environmentally friendly alternative to conventional single-use plastic bags, which can take hundreds of years to decompose.
The major advantage is in the fact that they can degrade into the environment. So everything that degrades into the environment will definitely make manure. So that means in terms of managing soils, these ones have a very big advantage because they are going to go into the environment, degrade, make manure, plants will grow properly and the like. The other advantage is that they can be used to replace the normal plastics we know. And while paper may be a problem because when you have paper and it rains on it, it is going to become soggy and it will break off. This plastic doesn't become soggy. That means you can be able to use it to handle material in a bag or something like that. So it is easy to use as a carrier bag, which is normal with other plastics. Then the other advantage is the fact that you can use it as a carrier material for nutrients. Okay, because I told you it can degrade into the soil. So that means if you made this containing other nutrients, especially irons, minerals and the like, you can easily carry that into the soil. So we can look at it in many ways, but one of the ways to deal with soil infertility and the others is to use such material as trash bags. So when you use them as trash bags, that means you can easily go throw it there to provide minerals, to also provide other things. But apart from that, we know that it has bigger advantages in relation to environmental management, but importantly, it also advantageous because it is easy to handle. You don't have to suffer with this kind of waste. The moment you put it somewhere, it is going to rot. For a manufacturer, I think being able to use local raw materials to produce something like this is also important, because that means you don't have to import materials. You can use the available local materials to produce this, which makes a lot of sense to any manufacturer, to any industrialist as such.
Biodegradable plastics are made from materials derived from renewable resources, such as plant waste materials like cassava and potatoes. These materials are used as the base for producing the plastic, and they are intended to break down through natural processes such as microbial action, sunlight, and moisture. Biodegradable plastic bags are designed to break down more quickly than conventional plastic bags. As a result, they can potentially reduce the amount of plastic waste in landfills and natural environment, leading to a decreased risk of litter and pollution. Many biodegradable plastic bags are made from renewable resources such as cornstarch, sugarcane, and potato starch. Using these materials reduces reliance on fossil fuels, which are the primary source of traditional plastic production. Some biodegradable plastic bags are suitable for industrial composting facilities. When properly processed in these facilities, they can turn into compost, contributing to soil enrichment. The production of biodegradable plastic bags from renewable resources can result in lower greenhouse gas emissions compared to conventional plastic bags made from fossil fuels. Biodegradable plastic bags are often seen as a more environmentally friendly option, which can encourage consumers to be more conscious of their plastic usage and disposal habits. Unfortunately, and to our surprise, the production of the biodegradable plastic bags had been put to halt. This was as a result of the researchers at NARO being discouraged by the government lifting the ban they had placed on the plastic bags, commonly known as kavera.
Putting a ban and lifting it again. So that has been our biggest problem, because we were set ready to give the country what they could use, but then the ban was lifted and the manufacturers had to fall back to their former ways of doing things and using the kavera, and that is why you still see it on the market. The other challenge is financing, basically. So to come up with such innovations, most of the time you need a lot of money that goes into seed funding and the like. So the financing bit of it can be a challenge. And then finally, the other challenge is getting people to understand this and to appreciate it. So in most cases, people don't appreciate this that much because they are used to what is available and the like. So it is not easy to change people to move from one form to another form. And we hope we can be able to do that. So if we do those, we should be able to go well with this innovation.
The biggest cause of the discouragement was because producing plastic bags is simpler and the cost of production for the Kavera is quite lower compared to the biodegradable plastic bags. This indicates that the biodegradable bags were not going to be able to compete with the plastic bags on the market.
If the cost of producing a Kavera is, let's say, 1 shilling, then the cost of producing the biodegradable bag is 1.2 shillings. So just a difference of that 0.2. But of course, cumulatively, it is high. So the cost of producing is quite high because of the material we use to produce it, but also the management of the material in that case, and the fact that you are going to buy it from the farmer. But if you put it to scale, then the costs are almost the same. Because usually they will work on the same processing line with a few modifications. So right now we already have equipment from China, from the UK that can actually process biodegradable plastics, just like you can process the normal Kavera. That means if we have already equipment available, the cost of production would actually do what? Go down. The problem is importing this equipment. So why the cost goes up is because equipment for making bioplastics is still more expensive compared to equipment for making the normal Kavera and the like. The other reason why the cost goes high is because the market needs to get used to this. So that means you have to popularize it, promotion and the like. So the 0.2 that is increasing is actually into promotion of this so that people understand that it can be used, but also appreciate how it can be used. It's not just taking it there. They may not be able to handle it the right way. And then when you compare the other benefits that come off the bioplastic, on the long run, the cost of producing this is actually much lower. Because the cost of handling the bioplastic is much lower compared to the cost of handling the Kavera. So ideally, my point is that you can actually be able to get more out of this on the long run as a country compared to the Kavera. At an individual level, if you are the one buying it, it may seem more expensive, but handling it, if you have to handle it in one way or the other, the cost is much lower. Once the manufacturer has been able to optimize the process to the level where he can produce this at scale, then he should be able to sell it the same price as he sells the normal one. However, before optimization, it actually can be expensive because you need to train the machine, you need to train the people to work on it, you need to do so much for it to be able to go there. But once it is in the market, the set price from the wholesaler basically will determine how much will go to the retailer and others. Now, in terms of packaging things there, then it really doesn't matter because the cost of packaging is as per what the manufacturer has decided. And here we are talking about a second user. So the person using it for packaging must have bought it from somebody who produced it and is now using it for packaging. So definitely the cost of the material will be dependent on the second industrialist who's actually going to use it just for packaging. But he won't attach an additional cost if the former producer did not attach an additional cost.
Despite the fact that the cost of production of the biodegradable plastic bags is quite higher than that of the plastic bags on large-scale production at the start, they are cost-effective in the long-term run. The management of these bags is cheaper compared to that of the plastic bags. One may have a major concern about the production of the biodegradable plastic bags, which is causing food insecurity since the raw materials to produce them are from food crops. Well, according to Dr. Ephraim Nwamanya, the agriculture production would have shot up since the demand for food production would have increased too.
We want to catalyze production of these crops. And when we say catalyze production, we mean we want to provide a market. When we provide a particular market, then farmers produce more. That is one way of looking at it. So because we have seen in many models that every time there is a market, the farmers will always be listed to produce so that they can be able to supply the market. Secondly, we are using waste materials. We are not using directly the real crop. So we are using wastes from cassava, waste from bananas, waste from many other sources to come up with some of these innovations. So we don't see any effect on food security, neither do we see any effect on what the farmers will be able to have as farmers. This was our main innovation from the start. And indeed, we worked on this, and somebody even got a PhD from this. And unfortunately, the person died, but the innovation lives on. However, when the government put a ban on this, we realized we are not going to make headway into the bioplastic intervention for environmental causes. However, we didn't lose hope, so we started working on something that goes directly into the environment. We started looking at how best we could produce a plastic-based material that could hold a seedling for more than 6 to 8 months as it grows until when it is transplanted to the garden. So how we just made sure that we improve on this innovation, and then we came up with something like this. So this is what we use now to make seedling pots or seedling wraps, and it is already being used. We have tested it with farmers in Mbare with an organization called METG, Mount Elgon Tree Planting Project. They are supported by the government of Wales and also in collaboration with another university called Bangor University in the UK. So we have been able now to popularize this among the farmers, and they appreciate it because they say it is easier to handle and easy to work with compared to the normal potting plastics. This is a testament that it can degrade in the soil. As you can see, it has degraded. Certain organisms are eating it off. So ideally, that shows that it can be eaten. In the environment, it won't stay there. But importantly, maybe the fact is that it cannot produce microplastics. It does not produce microplastics. When it degrades into carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and others elements, and they just go into the soil. It does not degrade and form small particles that are going to affect the environment. Yeah, and we have proof for that. So
the researchers decided to come up with other packaging materials that are eco-friendly. These include sausage wrappers that are edible and seedling holders which are degradable, returning nutrients back into the soil to support plant life. The seedling holders are to replace the plastic bag seedling holders and have already been tested in some parts of the country like Mbale and have been successful.
We also have other innovations. For example, sheets that can be used to cover sausages. So for example, this. Yeah, so you can actually use this to make your sausages, and then you can just eat the whole thing with it because it is completely biodegradable. It is from starch and the like, so you can use it for that purpose. But also customizing it to other uses. So for example, when you are going to package something like a cake, you need something that looks nice. So we can actually work around that to produce material that can be able to work in that area. So the innovation is live. So many other products can come out of it, and so many other uses can actually come out of it. But importantly, it will have a positive impact on the environment. Yeah.
Currently, my research project is focused on evaluating these bioplastics. These are biopods that are used in raising the seedling that are basically degradable in the field. So the reason why we chose to develop these bioplastics because of a lot of contamination from the use of Cavera. So we chose to use these to develop these prototypes that can degrade in the soil, also which are environmentally friendly. So basically, we managed to come up with a prototype that can last in the nursery for quite some time, for 6. Actually, this one I've spent in the nursery for 6 months, and actually it's still good and moving on. Well, they've explained to you that this does not produce microplastics and like. Yes, they don't, because When you chose to come up with this, we chose to use the organic part of the thing. That's we're using starch and the cellulose. And the cellulose is coming from the fibers, the sawdust, and the like. So this can only degrade in the soil completely. It doesn't have produce any other microplastics. So it's environmentally friendly.
With all these innovations in place, we hope that the future of packaging will become sustainable and eco-friendly. Although the authorities should enforce the plastic bags ban or improve waste handling before it is too late. As the saying goes, now or never. It has been such a wonderful and insightful discussion, but sadly, we have come to the end of it. I encourage whoever is in power, that is the government and any other agencies, to ensure that the country gets sustainable packaging. Other than that, let us catch up next week, same time.